gentlemen, would you please rise and join us in the pledge? Councilman Walsh, would you like to lead us in the pledge, please?
Yes, thank you. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing as we honor our veterans, our first responders, and this evening I ask that you keep the family of George Summer in your thoughts and prayers, a longtime resident. He and his family Mr. Summer passed away just over the weekend. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our annual organization night. We had a special election this year, therefore we're having a scaled back organization night, although we have to have organization night every year, but we do have one swearing in to do. That is Trustee Donna Solosky was elected to complete a one-year term. That was my one-year term from last year. So with that, I'm going to ask Trustee Solosky to join me down here on the well by the podium as we swear in Trustee Solosky to complete her term. Okay, we would ask that Trustee Solosky's family join us up here. We'll have somebody else take pictures. And you're going to hold the Bible? Okay. All right. Trustee Solosky, please place your hand on the Bible, raise your right hand, left hand on the Bible, and repeat after me. Where I say my name, you say yours. I, Paul Pereira,
I, Donna Solosky,
do solemnly swear
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the rules, codes, and ordinances of the Incorporated Village of Mineola,
of the Incorporated Village of Mineola,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of trustee
the duties of the office of trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations and welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, Trustee Solosky.
Okay, approximately 1 year ago, Mayor Pereira approached me asking if I would consider the position of trustee. To say I was honored would be an understatement. A year later, I stand here being sworn in again. To serve this village is one of the greatest honors I have ever had. Being a lifelong resident of the village, seeing it grow and improve is a goal that I embrace along with the entire board. The team I work with is fantastic. We all come from different life paths, which affords our decision-making with many different views. Each of us is free to express our opinions, and then an intelligent discussion takes place before any conclusion is reached. The opinions and comments of the residents are very important. Suggestions and issues are listened to and discussed among us. I encourage residents to come to the meetings or contact the board directly through email with their concerns. Believe me, we are listening. The village is growing and improving. The new fire house is absolutely fantastic. I would put our fire department up against any fire department in the world and know that they would come out on top. The Mineola Ambulance Corps provides care and life-saving services to our residents, another diamond that our village offers. The Mineola Auxiliary Police gives the village security as they patrol our streets and provide safety and order during many of the parades, concerts, and other village activities. Lastly, the employees of this village are superb. Each department works tirelessly to keep this village working without a hitch. The new business, downtown, and Main Street overlay districts are addressing the changing dynamics of the residents and commercial businesses in a dramatically new world post-COVID. Mineola is a beacon to many other villages in New York State. Lastly, I want to thank my family, my husband, children, their spouses, and my grandchildren who you see running around here. They've encouraged me to take on this new endeavor, which I much appreciate their support. In conclusion, I look forward to another year of great accomplishments with this board and making Mineola the gem that it is. And I thank you very much.
Okay, we'd ask Trustee Solosky's family to join Trustee Solosky up here for a couple of photos, and if the board would come down as well, we'll take a couple of photos as well. And we'd like to present Trustee Solosky with a beautiful floral arrangement. Congratulations, and it's a pleasure to work with you. Thank you. Okay, you guys get in there without me. You want to take them by, maybe by those flags? Yeah, I think those are nice. All right, now the village board. I did too. Congratulations.
They moved it a little, right?
I think it is, I think it, no, I just, yeah.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
So, the kids are oh my God, they're my life. They're my life.
They're so gorgeous. Look at them. And that little peanut in there.
Thank you. Thank you.
John, did you just say you can't wait? Was that given?
Elizabeth, this is John. Can't wait for his daughter to have grandchildren. He just can't wait. That's what he always says. I can't wait, can't wait. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Or do you want the old one live? You got it. Exactly.
Okay, once again, congratulations to Trustee Solosky. It really has been an honor and a privilege to serve with Trustee Solosky this last year. And I am so happy about the decision that I and this board made in appointing her, and I'm so happy about the decision that this community made in re-electing trustee Solosky. She certainly has been a tremendous addition to this board. So once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we're going to go into our annual organization night. Clerk Rivera.
Thank you. Resolution confirming the mayor's appointments of village officials for 2023. Village Clerk Brian Rivera, Deputy Village Clerk Linda Pardo, Superintendent of Public Works Thomas Rini, Deputy Superintendent of Public Works Leonard Palumbo, Supervisor of Water Plant Operations James Martin, Superintendent of the Building Department Liam O'Keefe, Treasurer Giacomo Ciccone, Deputy Treasurer Egidio Belli, Village Auditor Christiana Salerno, Secretary to the Planning Board Donna Thompson, Activities Coordinator Martha DeSosa, Assistant Activities Coordinator Anna Athen, Library Director Charles Sleef, Deputy Parking Supervisor Daniel Ramaletti, Court Clerk of the Justice Court Elizabeth Bernardes, Associate Village Justice Stephen Barnwell, Secretary to the Board of Trustees Daisy Serace, Secretary to the Fire Department Dennis McCann, Village Attorney John P. Gibbons Jr., Deputy Village Attorney Benjamin J. Troncalli Jr., Deputy Village Attorney Peter S. Trentacost, Village Prosecutor Peter S. Trentacost, Deputy Prosecutor Benjamin J. Troncalli Jr., Special Retained Counsel Spellman, Gibbons, Polizzi, Troncalli, and Trentacost, LLP, Counsel to the Library Board Benjamin J. Troncalli Jr., Counsel to the Zoning Board of Appeals Benjamin J. Troncalli Jr., Counsel to the Planning Board Architectural Review Board Benjamin J. Troncalli Jr., Village Engineer, D&B Engineers and Architects, Electrical Inspector, Electrical Inspectors, Inc., Financial Advisor, Capital Markets Advisors, LLC, Bond Counsel, Hawkins, Delafield, and Wood, LLP, Independent Auditors, Rincare, Vale, and Barrett, LLP, Pool Recreation Board, Kristen Griswold, Planning Board, Architectural Review Boards, Linda Ramos, John Curry, Ed Voyer, Nicholas Panaccio as the Chairman of the Planning Board, Architectural Review Board, Planning Board, Architectural Review Board Alternate, Joseph Rowan, Board of Ethics, Bernadette Pizzardi, Elizabeth Bernardes, Russell Sutherland, Lisa D'Alfonso Valente, Joanne Zahn, Zoning Board Tara Ryan, Zoning Board Chairman James Sherry, Zoning Board Alternate Raymond Powers, Assessors Richard Marr, Eugene Martonic, Paul Watzak, Assessment Review Board Frank Hoare. Can I get a motion, please?
Motion by trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations to all the appointees. Thank you.
Resolution appointing trustee Janine Sartori as deputy mayor.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion?
Motion by trustee Solosky, seconded by trustee Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations. Deputy
Thank you.
Mayor. Thank you.
Resolution approving the list of public meetings and public hearings as listed on the agenda.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the hearing and work session and public meeting calendar for the year. Motion by trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by trustee Solosky. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution authorizing the village officials for undertakings included under a blanket limit of employee theft for a total of $700,000 per loss. This employee theft provides coverage on all employees, elected and appointed officials, and includes faithful performance of duty on all as well. A motion.
Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution under Section 82 of the Village Law designating the village clerk as collector of taxes and assessment, and for the village clerk to be authorized to collect taxes and assessments of the village.
Entertain a motion. Motion by trustee Casado, second
Second?
by trustee Solosky. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution under Section 126A of the Village Law authorizing the village clerk and collector of taxes to be credited unpaid and uncollected taxes, if any, for the year 2023-2024.
Motion.
Motion?
Motion by trustee Solosky, second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution that the mayor be authorized and directed to affix his signature as mayor of the Incorporated Village of Mineola upon all checks drawn upon the village funds, in addition to the signature of the treasurer or deputy treasurer for their official year 2023-2024.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Salosky, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Resolution that in the absence or incapacitation of the mayor, the deputy mayor be authorized to sign all checks in the place instead of the mayor, in addition to the signature of the treasurer or deputy treasurer for the official year 2023-2024.
Entertain a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Clark, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Casado, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Resolution authorizing the treasurer as custodian of the Length of Service Award Program and the following persons as officers of the Length of Service Award Program: Paul A. Pereira, Mayor; Paul S. Cusado, Trustee; Janine Sartori, Trustee; Jeffrey M. Clark, Trustee; Donna M. Solosky, Trustee.
Entertain a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Salosky, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Resolution authorizing the following banks to be designated as depositories for deposits of all monies received by the treasurer of the Village of Mineola: Hanover Bank, Mineola, and Garden City Park branches.
Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Casado, do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Clark, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Resolution appointing the Williston Times as the official village newspaper.
Entertain a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, seconded by Trustee Salosky, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Resolution to adopt the following policies for the Village of Mineola as listed on the agenda.
Okay, we're not gonna read all the policies, these are the traditional policies that run the gamut. We're just essentially approving a motion that we are following all these policies. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Casado, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Clark, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Okay,
you.
ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our organization night responsibilities. And as we had announced, we will also be having our budget presentation. So I will accept a motion to close the organization night. I get a motion to close the organization night.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, second.
Second.
Second by Trustee Salosky, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And now we're going to start our work session, which entails a presentation by our village treasurer, Jacques Chacon, regarding our budget. So today, we have a budget presentation to the board by our treasurer. On Wednesday, we will have a hearing, Wednesday the 5th, we will have a hearing regarding the budget. So at which point, the public will be able to comment, and we'll have copies of the budget available for review by the public. Mr. Chacon?
Good evening, Mayor, Board, John G. Good evening. I'm going to go over tonight budget highlights, just the big items on the budget. First, I'm going to go over the revenue items on page 2 of 18. Line 55, pilots. We're looking to increase that line by 25,000 due to a new pilot, Steel Equities, coming on. Line 62, commuter permits. We're looking to increase that by 30,000 as a result of permit rates increasing and more permits being issued. The same thing with the special permit, line 63. We're looking to increase that by 40 for the same reasons.
Okay, in these two lines especially, 62 and 63, these are really a result of, as we see the commuters are increasing, returning to work, we have seen that the numbers have gone up, they have begun to bounce back, and especially in our Harrison Avenue garage, we have seen a steadily increase in daily usage, as well as requests for monthly permits and weekly permits, and an interest from the hospital as well. So that is the result of that, correct?
Yes. As we move along, line 68, interest income, we're looking to increase that by 110,000. In May of '22, the interest rate was 0.5. Now as of February, the end of February, we get 2.13% interest.
Okay, well, let's ensure some positive things
Yes,
Good. I haven't seen 2.13 in a long time.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah, long time.
Very good. We'll take it.
Yes, we will. Line 77 is building permits. I'm looking to increase that by 50,000. We've been doing very well with building permits. The last, I would say, 8 years, we've been doing very well.
Right, so that is line
77.
7, so we increase it, okay. Yeah, I mean, the numbers, as you can tell, we've been very busy, so we're approaching $1 million for this previous year.
Yes.
Right, okay. And again, obviously, 20 and 21, there was a little bit of a downturn because of the pandemic, so, you know, people weren't, we were not as busy, but we've rebounded in 22 and 23, both years, you know, inching towards $1 million in revenue in the building department. So that makes sense. Thank you.
And moving along, line 81, fines and forfeitures, looking to increase that by 100,000. We're issuing additional tickets.
And again, line 81, we have been short-staffed in that department for a couple of years now because of retirement, illnesses, long-term absences, and the death of one of our employees. Now that we've begun to fill those and we've begun to get that department back to full capacity, obviously it's only natural that we would be able to increase enforcement and as a result, increase the revenue.
Line 86, hosts and community, we're looking to increase that by 100,000. Those are agreements made when we work on these projects.
Right, so anytime we have a pilot, we have a project that comes before us where the developer or the owner decides to go with the Nassau County IDA for some kind of pilot, we always make sure that the village portion of the taxes are essentially made whole through a host community benefits agreement. So we really make sure that the village gets every penny of their portion of the tax bill.
Line 88, we're looking to decrease that line by 350,000, which is the Harrison Avenue garage.
Okay, as I stated earlier, we had NYU Langone has expressed an interest in renting out some spots from us, and as a result of that, they are paying the permit fees, and that has really enabled us to begin to reap the benefits of that garage.
Line 93, mortgage tax, we're looking to increase that by 100,000. The market has been doing very well, especially Mineola. Right now, we're at about 560,000, and we still have one more payment coming for mortgage tax.
Yeah, if you haven't noticed, the housing market is very, very strong in Mineola, home sales, and there's no sign of it going down, so we are in high demand, and as a result, that comes in the form of mortgage tax.
Yes. And the last item is line 96, federal aid. We were fortunate to get close to $1 million in 21-22 and 22-23, but we're only going to get that for 2 years, so that comes off the budget.
Right, so ARPA money is done for us, and that means we take essentially almost a $1 million hit. So we have to make that up somewhere else, but it was nice while it lasted.
Yes.
Put it to good use for sure.
Now I'm just going to go over a couple of expense items. First one is on page 5 of 18. Liability and fire insurance. We're looking to increase that by $70,000. That's due to the addition of new buildings and structures in the village's insurance policy.
Right, so this would be as a result of the water department and the fire department and new buildings that we built. Obviously, we have to up our coverage.
Yes. And if you stay there on the same page, line 237, certiorari's, we're looking to decrease that by 100,000. We're looking to settle a few cases in this fiscal year, so we are able to reduce that for next year.
And I know we've said it, and we got Mr. Walsh sitting in the back here who would have his yearly, he would know better than anyone because he sat here when these numbers were 1.2, 1.3 million, not that long ago. And this is as a result of us doing our own assessment and having our roll done each year and being as close to accurate as we possibly can to minimize these certs, mostly from commercial properties. And so the fact that we've lowered it to $200,000 is really, quite an accomplishment. So, they still come in, but very, very few now. And it's great because for budgeting purposes, we're able to kind of predict what's coming in the next year. To see a number that has now been decreased by another $100,000 is great. So that's good.
Yes. If we move to page 8 of 18. Line 377, concrete requirements contract. We're looking to increase that by 100,000 for additional sidewalks to be repaired throughout the village.
Okay, so this is something that I came in and can't say that everyone was necessarily in favor of it, but I asked Mr. Chacon to increase that line by $100,000. We're going to explore a program where we'll put out for a requirements contract where we will identify properties in the village where our trees or our workers or something that we did was a direct result or directly resulted in damaging sidewalk flags, at which point we will be the ones that will replace the flags at our cost, but only those flags that were damaged by our trees or by our work. And of course, we can't do the entire village all at once, just like we can't pave every road all at once. So we're going to roll this out, see how it goes. Actually, on Wednesday, Mr. Rini has, put it into our work session. Going to go out for a requirements contract, so we'll see how it goes, but baby steps. And this is something that I think is an issue, not just in Mineola, but everywhere. And although technically the sidewalk is the responsibility of the homeowner, and I just think that this is something that we ought to explore. And so we have increased that line by 50% to $300,000 in order to deal with that. And there's going to be some growing pains and there's going to be some issues, but we're not going to come in and fix every single flag on your property, just those that are around the tree wells that we deemed were damaged directly by our trees. And of course, we cannot go onto private property, but rather just the sidewalks.
Yes, and last item I have to go over is on page 11 of 18. Line 543, health and medical insurance. Unfortunately, we have to increase that line by 200,000. The single and family coverage rates have gone up from 11% to 20%.
Right. Just to put it in perspective and why, sometimes we see increases, and I'm really proud of what this village does with the relatively small budget that we have in comparison to an institution or similar institutions of our size, is that we have a $25 million budget just to keep things round. $3 million of that is health insurance costs. So that kind of puts it into perspective, how big of a chunk that is. And those increases are really out of our control. That's something that, and that's not just us, school districts are going through the same thing, and we have to pay it. And that's something that we have to make up somewhere else, right? Okay.
In conclusion, with all these changes to the budget that I propose, we're looking at a tax levy increase of $262,829 from last year's budget. Right now, the tentative budget stands at 1.86%, which remains below the tax cap at 2% for fiscal year 23-24.
Okay, and again, having a relatively small budget, a small number can larger in terms of percentage. So although the increase is only $262,000, and if you think about that, one of my requirements was that Mr. Chacon add $100,000 for the sidewalks and concrete. If we were to take that out, then we would essentially cut this increase, by a third, which would basically cut that 1.86 down by a third. But I thought that it was important enough for us to, because for years, this is something that didn't start with this administration, or with the Strauss administration, or with the Martins administration. This is probably has been going on ever since John DeVanzo decided to put in sidewalks and curbs in the village. So it's something that we're looking to explore, and I'm saying this because a minimal increase in our taxes, relatively speaking, $262,000, comes in at 1.86, but yet you saw that our health insurance responsibility went up almost 10%, right? So we have to make that up, and we make it up on the efficiency side, we make it up on the revenue side, we've made it up on collapsing some positions when people retire, not hiring a full position back, so on and so forth. But I think, but yet again, since the institution of the tax cap, which is over 10 years now, probably 11 or 12 years ago, we have never pierced the tax cap. It will never be the intention of this board to pierce the tax cap, and so we won't be doing it this year either. Mr. Chacon, can you tell us what that equates to, a 1.86 to an average taxpayer like me? What would the average tax increase be to the average homeowner?
I think it's about $65 a year.
Okay, so to the average homeowner, this would be a 1.86 increase, and again, we still have the budget hearing, we still have some time before the budget is adopted, we can still crunch some numbers. This certainly could still go down. I can guarantee it's not gonna go up. We're still waiting for some numbers from the state, but at where it stands now, 1.86% increase, that would be about $6 a month, okay? So we're looking at about $6 a month for the average homeowner. Obviously, some will pay slightly more, some perhaps will pay less, and it's not to minimize, I know that Mayor Strauss used to say, not to minimize $65, we have lots of people on fixed incomes, but we have been doing a lot of things as well, building a new firehouse, we're going to go out for this requirements contract for sidewalks, we've made improvements at our Little League field, we're looking to make improvements at our Wilson Park, we're continuing with the concerts in the park, we are, we're continuing to look at improving our village in every way. We have not taken anything away from roadways, from paving, we haven't cut any services, quite to the contrary. We're also looking to do improvements at the pool for next year, 2024. So those are all things that we're doing with a reasonable increase. As you saw, with the increase in the interest rates, there's also an increase in the price of everything. There's been inflation for you, there's inflation for us in every regard. So I think it's a responsible budget, but I'm certainly interested in hearing from the public, input from my fellow board members, and they have the budget, they've had the budget, and they certainly can discuss it with Mr. Chacon. And so, Deputy Mayor, do you have any comments, any questions?
I don't at this time. I think it's definitely a responsible budget. But as I go through the lines, I'm sure we'll have greater conversations. And then, yes, I would love to hear from the public as well before we approve it. But thank you, a lot of work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Trustee Casado?
No, my only concern was the pool, I know you mentioned, but that's gonna be next year's budget, 2024, or
Well,
are we gonna bond that, or what's gonna happen?
we're not at that point yet.
Okay.
We're at the point of exploring the engineering to look at the improvements that we have to make to the bathhouse, to the bathrooms, and to the upper deck. There are some issues, so it's really gonna be up to this board, once we have that information from our engineers, then to decide how much we wanna do, how little we wanna do, when we wanna do it, and at that point, we'll discuss costs. So that is not included in this year's budget, right? The work is not included in this year's
Right, I
budget.
saw that, yes.
Obviously, the engineering or the proposal where they're going to look at it and come back with us to us with ideas, that will be in this year's budget. What we then decide to do, that will be up to us.
Okay,
Okay?
thank
And
you.
some of these things, for example, the Little League turfing of the infields and other projects, capital projects in the village, will oftentimes be paid through our development incentive bonus intake. So that also plays into this as projects come online, as people, as developers come to us and we get the incentive bonus, we then use those for one-off costs like the Little League fields, okay? Trustee Clark.
Good evening. It looks good. Nice job on the budget. Very thorough.
Thank you.
I like the addition of the sidewalk program, and look forward to working with that.
Right, we'll reserve judgment. We'll see Mr. Reedy is nervously smiling over there. We will certainly, it's going to be an interesting concept. I don't know that there are many other villages that are doing this. As a matter of fact, that many other villages are going in the other direction. But I'm going to try it, and this is really in response to residents questioning, asking us about it, and I think it's a reasonable response, but we will see how it works. But I do ask that everyone be patient. We still have to go out for the requirements contract, so this is not gonna happen next week or next month, but we will see. And hopefully this will encourage residents who may have 2 flags that the village is going to cover the cost of, that then are inspired to fix the rest of their sidewalk and improve the entirety. And maybe their neighbor sees it, and that will be hopefully something that will, it will kind of be a public-private partnership between us and the residents and whichever company gets this requirements contract. So we'll see. If it's great, I'll take all the credit for it. If it doesn't work out, we'll then call it the Trustee Clark Initiative. I wouldn't say the Tom Reedy Initiative. Trustee Salaski.
Thank you. I can't imagine the amount of time and effort that goes into the budget, these numbers, and just the many, many different lines. So I applaud you for this job. Well done. And the
Thank you.
effort that's put in to minimize the expenses and keep everything on a tight budget, I think is short of a miracle. And the sidewalk program, I'm in full support of that. I hope it works, but again, following the mayor, please be patient as we work out all the nuts and bolts of it. Thank you.
And something else that I would like to say is that one of the things that I made a priority when I got into office a year ago is I've been in many meetings where, especially Mr. Reedy, but not just Mr. Reedy, but usually Mr. Reedy, is up here posting for positions after we had just filled a position a few months prior. And it's always a matter of retention, keeping employees, because we couldn't compete with the town, we couldn't compete with the county, we certainly couldn't compete with the private sector in terms of our salaries. So our salary, our contractual salary, starting salary was $15 an hour. You can go to Starbucks and make more, you can go to McDonald's and make more, you can be a teenager and make more. And we're asking people to operate machinery, to work in all kinds of weather, to come in early, stay late, so on and so forth. And so I made it a priority to change, to ask the union to open the collective bargaining agreement so that we can start. The starting salary is now $18 an hour. That's still not great for living in Nassau County. We know that. But certainly I thought that we deserve to pay our employees a fair living wage. And that is reflected in this budget, right? Increasing the starting salary and moving everyone that was below $18 to $18 and moving those that would have been leapfrogged by newer employees up so that they would not be leapfrogged. I mean, it's not a huge number, but it's certainly a number that's in that 1.86 that is there. And I think it's money well spent. Appreciated employees, happy employees, well-paid employees perform better, and I think they deserved it. And then I also think that it allows us to retain our employees. You know, Mr. Reedy trains them, and then 6 months later, they'll be leaving, taking what they learned here, and the efforts of our management and senior employees, and then go and use it somewhere else. And hopefully, we will be able to retain more of our employees so that there isn't that much turnover. We have a pretty seasoned staff through our departments, but it gets increasingly tough to replace people when you tell them the starting salary is $15 an hour. So this increase in this budget also reflects that. And I think that's important to note. But I think, again, for the $65 on average that someone is going to pay a year, it's money well spent, in my opinion. So I like this budget, but Mr. Chacon and I are going to talk about it some more. We are not adopting it until later this month. So on Wednesday, I encourage the residents to come out, take a look at it. If you have any suggestions, questions, Mr. Chacon will have his pencil, his sharpener, and his eraser with him, and he'll be ready to go.
I
Okay?
just have one resolution.
Sure.
Resolve to adopt the changes to the tentative budget for fiscal year 23-24.
Okay, so this is to adopt the changes that we've made so far. Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Solosky. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, resolution passes.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Chacon?
I have one question. If the public wants to see this budget, they have to come here Wednesday, or is there a way for them to see it prior?
It's available in the clerk's
In the
office.
clerk's office? Okay.
Right, Mr. Rivera, they can pick this up before Wednesday, okay? We'll have copies in the.
And I'll
clerk's
bring
office.
some, I'll make
And
copies of
we'll
what.
obviously have copies on Wednesday as well, but if you'd like to come by here tomorrow, Tuesday, to pick up a copy, we can make copies available, but we'll certainly also have copies on Wednesday here at the meeting. Not online because it's a tentative budget,
Right.
so technically, we don't want people to take this as, this is not the approved budget. Once the budget is approved, then yes, okay? Right. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Gibbons, anything?
No, Mayor.
No? Okay, anybody else on the board?
Nope.
Okay, just thank you, Mr. Chacon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, I would just like to make an announcement that tomorrow, Tuesday, April 5th, Mineola Macaroni at Mineola High School by the Student Service Center. It is their annual fundraiser where they raise money for the Mary Brennan Inn in Hempstead. I believe it starts at 5 to 7. There'll be pasta, bread, meatballs, activities for the children. It's a very popular event and one that goes to a very worthy cause. This past weekend, we had the Long Island Portuguese Lions Club annual pancake breakfast. Palm Sunday pancake breakfast was a huge success, again, for a good cause. Unfortunately, the MAA parade was canceled on Saturday, the opening day parade. However, on Saturday, April 22nd, we will have a ribbon cutting for the new and improved Little League fields at 10 a.m. on Saturday, April 22nd. Please come out, all young and old, whether you have a child in the MAA or you had a child, or whether you yourself played in the MAA. Hopefully the weather will be better than it was this past Saturday. So we look forward to seeing all of you there. Okay? And I want, on Wednesday we'll talk about Easter. We'll be here on Wednesday again.
Yes, we will.
But again, thank you. I'll entertain a motion to close the work session.
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Good night, everyone. We'll
Night.
see you back here on Wednesday, April 5th for the budget public hearing. Thank you. Good night.